What's up, guys, and welcome back to another episode of the Illest Podcast. You know, we're the Illest Podcast on Marywood University.
Here we are today, and we have a different setup.
Yeah.
Because we have...
Three shots. We have a guest.
Yeah.
Which is cool. But what about that weather, dude? It's November.
November,
I'm in a
and
t-shirt.
It's 60 degrees outside.
Yeah, that makes no sense. But that's always Pennsylvania weather. But I actually have an intro.
Let's go for it.
Okay. So today's guest is the man, the myth, the legend. The one that everyone asks for. Man walks in the room, everyone has the best day ever. One of my favorite teachers here, Mr. Ernie Mengoni.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, thank you for being here with us.
However, you should learn how to pronounce my last name.
Oh, did I do it wrong?
Yeah, it's Mengoni.
Mengoni.
You were close, though.
Oh. I've known you for 3 years.
Man, what a shame.
That's
It's okay.
Okay, let's get right into it then.
Yeah, but as you guys know, I love the OJ, so I brought another one this episode. I always have to, this is my thing, like I always have to have a bottle of OJ.
Good for you. I always have a bottle of scotch.
Right before the episode, you're getting ready?
Absolutely.
So
No.
we're all loosened up
Just
here?
kidding.
No,
Right
just
before
kidding.
teaching?
For legal reasons, it's a joke.
Yeah, for legal reasons. That was.
Why is that
a
illegal?
joke. Oh.
I don't
Maybe with a
think
dry
so.
campus, I mean.
Yeah.
Not really, though.
Not really?
Oh.
You have some controversy here?
If it were truly dry, then all of the parties that are held on campus, you know, for the faculty, the staff, administration, Christmas parties, there would be no alcohol there either, but there usually is.
True.
So it's not truly dry.
Not
only for
truly.
the
It's
students.
dry for you. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, for even students that are like over 21 can get alcohol.
Can or can't?
Can.
Oh. All right.
Like they just ask you, are you 21 or not, and give you a band.
I didn't know that. I'm
Yeah.
never at the Marywood events, so honestly, I don't know.
I went to one of them, and they were just like the IDs and just gave you a band.
Was that the masquerade ball?
No, well, yeah, masquerade ball, yes, but there was an open bar when it was Parents' Weekend.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Exactly. But of course, no alcohol in the dorms.
Oh yeah, no.
As campus
100%.
safety, we have to make sure of that.
That's right.
Yeah.
Never any alcohol in the dorms.
That's
for sure.
right. And I'm sure there isn't.
No, never.
Yeah.
Never.
No, yeah. Uh-huh.
Hey, anyway, we have a few questions for you.
Yeah.
Let's
All
get
right.
right into them. Rubane, take it away.
All right. So we know you're in this field. Since freshman year, like I've known that you've done a lot of other things as well. I don't know if you still do them, but what made you get into like the media field?
Truthfully, I actually started as a music education major
Oh.
here at Marywood many years ago. And I started to hate music. It wasn't my thing. So at the time, my girlfriend at the time, who would later become my wife, was a comm major. And I thought, all right, I'll give comm a shot. And that's how I ended up in the field. And I actually ended up loving it. So it was a good mistake, I guess.
Okay.
What
But
made
that
you,
wasn't my original intention.
No. What made you start to resent music? How did that?
Yeah.
It was, I was an 18-year-old guy, and it was a lot of work. These music majors put in so much time, and there's so many half-credit courses, and the course load is just so heavy that I actually started not to like music, that field.
Oh.
So I decided it was probably time to change. So I changed major sophomore year.
Oh.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of like me. I came in undecided. I
Yeah,
was just like,
you know what? And I tell a lot of incoming students, if you're not 100% sure, come in undecided. And I wish somebody had told me that 100 years ago when I started college, because it would have been good advice, at least for me.
yeah.
You
same
know,
here. Yeah. Sorry,
Yeah.
same here. Because I started as a physical therapy major when I went to college, and I took some biology courses. I said that's not for me.
Yeah.
Totally flipped 180 in the comm field.
I mean,
And-
it's not a waste of time because you still got your liberal arts in, and
Yeah.
so I really didn't lose, and I'm sure you didn't either.
No.
Didn't lose that many credits. I mean, I think I graduated a month or a semester later than I would have, but in the
Yeah.
grand scheme of things, what's 13 weeks?
Yeah, it's never too late to change your major.
That's right.
So,
And
Yeah.
if it's something you have to do for the rest of your life. So if you're not happy in the field that you're in,
Yeah.
why waste your 4 years?
Yeah, because I went to an engineering high school in the plans of being in engineering college and becoming an engineer. And it was like after like 4 years of doing this thing, I was just like, maybe I don't want to be an engineer. But it was like after it took me 4 years to like be like, okay, I'm good at this thing. I like it. It's enjoyable. But like the whole time I would like film skits with my friends. We would like film like little stupid YouTube videos. And I was like, I just want to like create content. And then my mom was not happy with that. But my dad was like, if it makes you money and you're not on the streets, go for it.
Well, the thing is now, again, when I was your age, we didn't have YouTube and Instagram. I mean, we had no experience unless you had a camcorder, to tape family events. There was really no opportunity to produce anything. So it was kind of brand new for me.
Yeah.
So anyway, I graduated with a BA, and I graduated in May of, I don't even want to tell you, 1987. And by June 1st, I had my first job.
Oh, wow.
There was this little network starting up called Fox, and there was a local Fox affiliate that opened up called Wolf TV. So I interviewed for a position there as soon as I graduated, and I got it. And it was in master control. I mean, it was entry level, and the pay was horrible. But, you have to start somewhere. So I started in master control. Do you know what master control is?
No, tell us about it. And tell the viewers as well. They might not know.
All right. So master control basically, at the time, and it's still the same except everything's computerized. So I was responsible for airing all of the shows and then inserting the commercial breaks.
Oh, okay.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So
in
you
real
would sit.
time?
Pardon?
In real time?
Yeah. So you would sit at a small switcher. And back then we had this thing called videotape. And the commercial insertion, again, they were just starting out. They had no money, so the place was a dump. But it was a job. And, the commercials were inserted on these half-inch VHS tapes that half the time didn't trigger to the next break. It was horrible. It was so stressful because the viewers at home were watching everything that you did because, it was airing live. From tape, of course.
Oh.
But, you go to insert a commercial break and nothing happens. And it was a lot of fun, though. And I started with overnights. So there were only two of us in the building. But again, you have to start somewhere, right? Yeah. So long story short, I worked in master control for a year or two. And I wanted to get into commercial production. So I would drive the production manager crazy. What are you doing? Can I help? Show me what you're doing. Show me what you're doing. This went on for weeks. And when it came time for an assistant or for them to hire another production person, I was at the top of the list because I drove them crazy. And I wanted to do, that's what I wanted to do, and I was persistent. So that was my next move there. So as part of my duties as a production assistant, besides shooting commercials and editing commercials, things of that nature, I handled all of the interns that came through. So there were many Marywood interns. We have a great program, and we've always been well respected in this market. So we had students everywhere. So I would handle these interns and show them the ropes, teach them, what we were doing. And one of the faculty members at the time, Steve Beck, God rest his soul, he died quite young. He said, we have an opening at Marywood. Why don't you apply? I said, no, I love my job here. I'm not interested in leaving. And the money sucked. I'm not going to lie. The money was terrible. But again, I was, 22 years old, 22, I think. Yeah. And it was my first job. So I was like, all right. And I did love it. And I had no intention of leaving. And he said, well, why don't you interview? And it's always good experience to interview, whether or not you plan on taking the job or it's a job you're not interested in. The interview process is always beneficial. So long story short, I interviewed and they offered me more money. And at the time it was 9 months. So I said bye-bye to Wolf TV after 6 years.
6 years, wow. Yeah. You said you were 22 at the time?
Yeah.
So how did it feel being 22, taking in interns that were the same age as you pretty much?
It was fine. I'm still, I'm older than cat shit, and I still relate to students because psychologically I'm like 25 years old. So.
Yeah, well, that's the good way to be in this field, especially. Always on.
Honestly, I like to say I'm 5 years old, like mentally.
Yeah, no, and I think that might just be a guy thing. I don't know.
Maybe.
We never really mature. I mean, we mature,
true.
but we never really do, I guess.
Yeah, true.
So that's how I ended up here, and here I am 31 and a half years later.
Wow, that's crazy.
Mm.
And how much has the comm department
Yeah.
changed since you've started here?
Or
maybe the biggest changes.
Well, technologically, of course.
Yeah.
You know, back in the day, we didn't have a computer. We didn't know what computers weren't even. You know, I think they were just starting to manufacture the first Apples. So technologically, of course, it's made huge advances. The program itself, structurally, it's basically the same. Now we just added a sports media tract last year. Still have PR, still have, well, we used to call it radio TV. Now it's digital production and film or something like that. We just changed
Film,
the name.
TV, and digital
Film,
production.
TV, thank
yeah.
you. Film, TV, and
I
digital
mean, that's
production.
my major. I should know.
Yeah. Well, I should know it too, but, so it really hasn't changed that much. The radio station, of course, has changed. It's now automated when students aren't here, and our frequency is different because several years ago we had a power increase. So we had to go from 91.5, which we had been for 40 years, to 91.7.
So one click of the dial.
That's it. Yeah.
That's not bad.
Yep.
So, being a student of yours for multiple years, I've noticed that you have a quite untraditional approach at
so?
times. Well, so me personally, is like I was like, dang, college classes. Like my high school teachers scared me. They were like, college teachers don't care. They're boring. You're just gonna go. You're gonna sit in a lecture. They're not even gonna know your name. And then I'm coming here like freshman me with purple hair, waddling over late to your class. And
Always.
Then,
Most of the time.
Just a Rubane thing. It's
Yeah,
fine.
It is a
Rubane
Rubane
thing, like today.
I was late. Yeah, I mean, I was up till like 3 a.m. filling out my FAFSA. I always have an excuse, but the thing is, it's always real. I don't know why these things happen to me, but I would waddle in late, and you would like make a nice joke about it, and then we would continue on with the class, and then it would be like, I just found the classes fun. So was there like a teacher you had while growing up, and like what led to this style of teaching?
I think this major lends itself to having fun. It's a fun major. It's a lot of work, but my motto is if you're not having fun, then don't do it.
Yeah.
So I think that's part of it. It's just the nature of the major, I think. I can be a hard ass when I have to be a hard ass, but if I don't have to be, why just be a schmuck to be a schmuck?
Yeah,
You
that's
know?
the creative field in general.
Yeah.
I think you have to be there's times where you have to put your foot down.
Yeah.
At the same time,
Right.
we're all here having fun now,
Right.
and we're producing good content.
Well, and it's about team building too. Mm-hmm. This major, you're never working alone, as you know.
Yeah.
So part of it's about team building, and our students spend a lot of time together. So we have to get along. You know what I'm saying?
No, yeah.
I still freelance for the local Fox affiliate, not because the pay is so great, but I love doing it, and the camaraderie is awesome. Like, they're a great bunch of people, and I actually enjoy doing the job. So that's why I still do it.
Hoping you get paid a little bit more than you did when you were there.
A little bit, not much.
Right, for the
They added 5 cents.
Yeah, I mean, and I like to always learn too. I mean, I was for years game cam, which is basically the main camera shooting whether it be football or basketball. And I was like, at my age and my health, I'm like, I don't know if I can be lugging this stuff up and down bleachers anymore. So they put me on instant replay. So now I'm in the truck, and I'm doing instant replay, which I had never done before. So I mean, it's always a learning process. So.
Okay.
Speaking of which, how have you adapted being a professor in the field? You're leading the generations to come. How have you adapted in your curriculum changes and the technology itself too? You have to learn.
Well, that's the great thing too about being here. First of all, I'm not faculty. There's this misconception that I'm faculty. I guess I'm adjunct faculty, but my full-time job, I'm categorized as a professional staff member.
Okay.
Right. So my regular job is as coordinator of broadcast operations. So, I'm in charge of the facility, the repairs, the ordering, one-on-one teaching, moral support, psychological support, you name it, we do it. So let me just clear that up. So I'm technically adjunct faculty because as staff, we're only allowed to teach so many credits.
Oh.
Okay. I didn't know
So I can only teach, one class. Of course, there's always extenuating circumstances, but as a rule, it's generally 3 credits a semester.
Oh, wow. And you're lucky enough to have an office down here anyway.
Exactly.
Nice
I mean, I'm here all the time, and I think that's why students think I'm a full-time faculty member, because I'm really, Kim and I Kim is my assistant, as you know, spend most of our time with the students. And now, of course, Dr. Wotanis, because her office is here too, finally.
The first time I had to go to
What was the original question? Technology. Okay,
adapting,
so... one of the great things about the job that I have is that I have to stay current. I have to constantly study up on trends and technology. So honestly, students teach me probably more than I end up teaching them, which is another perk for the job, because what person approaching 60, even knows, I don't know, I guess they know how to use email, but
that's the extent.
Right.
Yeah.
But technologically, I have to stay current. So it helps me as much as I help students. So.
I mean, if anyone wants to be like, oh, older people can't use technology. Like if we all were to sit down and edit a project, I'm pretty sure you would have the best one because of
probably.
But
I've been doing it a long
works,
time too. So unfortunately, I don't get to edit as much as I used to. But
is it the difference in editing from having to cut film and then now you get to just do it all on the
just
computer?
Command Z.
It's so much easier.
So much easier, but I'm just trying to think of how to phrase this question. I feel like you're more connected to the film. You're there touching it, holding it, developing yourself. So did you have more of a passion before? Or just say it's faded?
You definitely, the great thing about having to edit tape to tape or edit audio, splicing and taping, 1/4-inch audio tape, is that you had to do a lot of pre-production, and you had to know exactly what you were going to do. The script had to be exact, because you couldn't just click and drag and change something. Mm-hmm. You'd have to do the whole project all over again, so it was much more time consuming, but the great thing about that was you really had to be organized. And I feel that's where students are really lacking now, in the pre-production and the organizational skills, and having a script that, is perfect and that you're going to edit to. Yeah. Because as you know, now it's much easier.
Yeah.
You can change things with the click of a mouse. You know?
I could not imagine having to.
No, I feel like now it's students are instead of editing to the script, they just edit to what they find is best.
They can write the script around what they edit.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Which for documentaries, that's okay. Depending on the type of documentary you're doing. But if you're doing, you graduate and you're doing commercial production somewhere in a post house, you're following a script. Yeah. You're still following a script, and you have to shoot to that script. So. It still occurs, but it was much. We'd have audio production class. We'd have to do a 30-second commercial or PSA, whatever the case may be, for class, and it would take hours and hours to edit because you were literally taking a razor blade and splicing tape and taping it together seamlessly. It was a process.
Now it's one class session and you're done.
Yeah.
True.
And if you don't like it, you could change it in an instant.
Yeah. It also depends because I feel like sometimes because of how much freedom I have, I go crazy on
Well, you can overthink things too. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I just go okay, maybe I need a different type of zoom here. I need another sound effect here somewhere.
Yeah. You can certainly you could spend weeks changing your project.
Mm-hmm. Now, do you think that lends itself to too many people in this major since anyone can do it?
Yeah.
No?
Okay.
Not at all.
There still has to be some sort of skill involved. You have to.
And the passion for it.
Yeah.
I see it all the time. Students who, I'm not sure what I want to, although I was one of those students, but it turned out I was passionate about it. So I was lucky. If not, I would have changed majors again. I mean, it's something you're doing for the rest of your life. So, however, there's students who are really passionate about it and students who go, well, that looks like an easy major. Maybe I'll try that. Yeah. And we all know it's really not.
It's not
very easy.
The common misconception.
It is, yeah. And you're spending a lot of your own free time, working on
Yeah.
various projects and class projects. And
It's like a lot of people are like, oh, the medical majors here are hard. I'm like, yeah, they're hard. You gotta learn a lot of stuff. But like for us, like we gotta sit down and we gotta do so much more. Like
outside of class.
outside of class as well, because I lived with a pre-PA major last semester, and then he walked into my room. I was editing a video. He's like, dude, this is a whole different language, because I was like fully zoomed into the WAV file, and he's like, what are you looking at? I'm like,
I mean,
words?
there's no such thing as an easy major.
Yeah.
There's not. If you're doing what you should be doing, it should all be difficult.
Yeah.
Different learning styles too, I
Yes,
think,
true,
as far
yeah.
as textbook learning, true and false, as opposed to creative. And there is no real answer. There's
No.
there's technically right answers,
Yeah.
but there's all you can Dutch tilt, and that's not right, but it looks good.
Yeah.
It's all about the creative aspect of it.
Right. And
Which-
that's why
yeah.
comm students are usually very different from a lot of other types of students. I think it's because most of the time we're creative, you know. In fact, I have a friend who works here who was a comm major and got her master's and then started her PhD. And the faculty member actually separated the comm majors that were in that class from the other majors because she said, and I quote, "You people think differently," which, you know, sometimes is true. Sometimes I think other students look at our majors and go, what is wrong with those people? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Whereas we think we're perfectly normal. We're looking at other students going, oh my God, what is wrong with them? You know? And we have fun.
That is that's what I like about this major. It's like you could have fun like this, like as much it is like, yeah, it helps me get practice, but it's something like a year ago I came up to you and I was like, hey, I would like to do a podcast, because this is something I tried to do during quarantine. We can't say the name of the pandemic. Those are the rules
Really?
of YouTube. Yeah.
Say stuff like Karen cough or human malware.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh,
But
maybe
we
you should
can't
have
say the
briefed
name.
me on this stuff before I started like cursing and, you know.
Oh no, that's fine. That's fine.
No,
but
that's
like
fine.
we just can't say the name of the pandemic.
Really?
That happened because YouTube doesn't like it. Yeah.
People can't demonetize.
So what, we just pretend it didn't exist?
We could
The human malware, we just call
the
it.
human
So-
malware. Yeah.
Okay. Well,
during
that's good to know.
yeah, during that time, I started a podcast. It was like hour and a half long. Took so much time editing it. Very crappy editing. Uploaded it. Got 100 views. I was like, no, I spoke too much, and then I privated the video, and then I was just like, because I had a couple of other people in there who did not filter themselves, and it's like now I understand after all these classes, like there's a certain the thing you show to the media or like to the public, and there's certain like thing you keep behind the scenes. Whereas like I didn't understand that before, but then I understood it. I'm like, okay, and then I came to you and I was like, can I do this podcast? You were like, I don't think about it, and then you were like, all right, yeah, you could go do it. But yeah, that's the thing. That's what I love about this major is because like the professors actually want you to go and start your stuff.
Well, and the good thing is too, you know, we're a smaller university, so you do get a lot more one-on-one attention. I think that's what attracts a lot of students to Marywood, you know, because you can go anywhere pretty much and major in comm. But, you know, here, the minute you start, you can, and you're expected to get involved right away.
Yeah.
Which larger universities, you can't touch anything until your junior year.
Yeah.
And I think that's why we have such a good reputation, because our students generally are very prepared. And in part, it's because of that. You know, they get 4 years of practical experience rather than 2.
Yeah.
So, you know, there's something to be said, you know, about going to a small university such as Marywood, where you can actually have access to facilities and equipment and faculty and staff immediately.
Yeah.
I transferred last semester, and I was thrown right into practicum. And I think not only did it help with learning the equipment, the radio station, and then like the Woodward with the budget meetings and how things go, you know, how things progress in real life. But it also throws you into different groups, so you can meet new people, make
Absolutely.
new groups. I wouldn't know Rubane if it wasn't
Yeah.
for you know VMFM and station manager. And here we are today, broadcasting through VMFM.
Right.
No. Yeah.
And
Well, and I think that's why our students are so tight.
Yeah.
You know, you do spend so much time together, and it is very much a collaborative major. And you're basically forced to freshman year meet everyone in the
Yeah.
department, which is great. And, we have like 40-some students, so it's not a huge department. It's not extremely small either, but you're not in a class with 300 students, which is, I think, extremely beneficial. So.
Yeah, I like that. That's what drove me to this university. I know I joke about like, oh yeah, it was a 5-minute Google search, private bathrooms, which was a factor. But the other thing was like, oh, it's a smaller university. I'll get that one-on-one other than just being like a number on a sheet.
Yeah, and there are very few times where students fall through the cracks, if ever, or fail to make it through because that extra help is always there.
Yeah.
Plus, we have a great tutoring center, and I think what keeps most people away from private universities, or at least hesitant, is the sticker price.
Yeah.
It's like when you buy a car.
No, yeah.
You see the sticker price and go, no, not doing
I'm
it.
good,
but there's always wiggle room,
Yeah.
and the sticker price is just that, even at the university. So with scholarships and aid and things of that nature, rarely do you ever pay sticker price.
Yeah, they help you out a decent bit.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But before we continue, we have this short little advertisement for you.
So we're taking this little break to give you this advertisement read, which is we want to promote 91.7 VMFM.
Is the alternative radio station that's on campus that every student is allowed to attend, and they're allowed to be a DJ on it. So if you ever have any inclinations or creative outlets you want to do in radio, VMFM is where you want to go.
Yeah, and we also take music submissions. We are an alternative radio station, but any song that you might want on it, you could give it in and we'll put it in for submission, and after that, you might get it on the radio station.
Yeah, so if a song plays, you can be the one to tell all your friends, yeah, I'm the reason this song is on the radio station right now.
Or, hey, I have a radio shift. Maybe you should tune in around like 3 p.m. on Wednesdays, and you might be able to hear me on there.
And especially, you can call in as well. When there's a DJ in, there's a number that they give. You can call in and request songs if they're already on the playlist. So if you're listening to the radio, you want a specific song, call in and ask them.
Yeah, so make sure to check out 91.7 VMFM.
All right, just like you saw, you could catch us on VMFM. But the next question I have for you is that one thing I learned, I did not know this. I talked to Kim, and then she told me that you sing.
I do. I actually have 3 jobs. This is my full-time job. I freelance for Fox. And then I do the music at my church. Again, I started as a music major, so I was always musical and enjoyed it. So I still do that. Back in the day, I actually had a band, and I was the wedding singer before the wedding singer. But it was fun, My sister, we kind of have a musical family. 2 of my children are music teachers. My middle son was the athlete, but he too was in marching band, played football, so he's very musical, taught himself guitar in like a couple of months, literally. I hate him because I can't do that. My sister was a piano major and is a music teacher, so back in the day, before children, my sister, my brother-in-law, my cousin, myself, my wife, and our adopted son, Bill, played bass. He was the only one who wasn't a family member. Decided to start a band, and we did that for a couple of years, did weddings, only because the money was better than playing in bars. So yeah, I do. I used to sing a lot more. It's like everything else. As you get older, it becomes more difficult, and things change with your body physically that affect how you sing. So I always joke with my kids, do you ever go to like a wedding and there's this like 80-year-old woman singing and she's a warbler, where you could drive a Mack truck through her vibrato? I told my kids, like, when I get to that point, if I don't know to quit, please say, Dad, you need to stop.
There's a right time. You can't
Exactly.
overextend yourself.
Exactly. Yes. So, the best part about the church gig is my son is in charge of worship, and he also has an amazing voice, as does my daughter. So a lot of times they'll cantor when I'm playing, because I play piano. And basically now I'm the backup singer. So.
Well, you're still involved in that
Yeah.
way, and the
Oh, yeah.
legacy lives on through your
Yeah,
kids.
absolutely. Yeah.
I
enjoy it.
Do you compose too and write, or?
I don't have a lot of time, and that's a terrible excuse, and I've never actually composed anything. I keep saying I'm going to do that, maybe if I ever get to retire. I'll do that. But I'm starting to delve deeper into Logic. So I actually the other day started to compose a news theme for our TVM news, and it came out all right. But it sounds more like a an anthem for an election
Okay.
show
Similar
or something.
vibe, maybe
But
not
same
quite.
vibe. It could work. I don't know. I think I have to tweak it a bit. So, because of that, again, always learning, right? And I know how to use Logic, but I really don't know the nuts and bolts of it. So I've been really trying to delve deeper into that because I would like to teach audio production someday. Like I'm over video production. It's been like 30 years. I feel like I need to do something else.
Yeah.
So I would really like to do that. And we're actually talking about, which I think is a great idea, as long as we're on the subject of music, opening up the audio production classes to non-majors, specifically music majors.
I think that'd be great, especially with the marriage that Eric is trying to do with his music production.
Right.
club.
We have a music production club now, thanks to Eric S. And and that's kind of how it came about, and I think it's a great idea. In fact, I was talking to my daughter the other day. I mean, I see her every day, but because I now have grandchildren, so I'm at her house every day. So I was talking to her about it because she teaches general music, elementary, and then 5th grade band. I said, with this type of class, would it have helped you in your career? And she was like, oh, absolutely. Absolutely. She said, I'm using technology all the time. And, I think it would be really beneficial, particularly for music majors, whether it be performance, music therapy, music education. So we'll see what happens. I think right now it's in the dean's lap, and I haven't heard back yet, but I can't see them saying no. Mm-hmm. But like any other class, there has to be enough interest.
Yeah,
we'll see what happens.
Yeah, I do like that the students and faculty are like on the same like level with a lot of things. Like Eric was talking to me a couple of weeks ago. Like it'd be really cool if like the music majors could like also be involved in this.
Well, it's in the works, so we'll see what happens. It's exciting though. I'm excited about it. I think it's a great idea. I think it would be beneficial for them and our students. A lot of the comm majors, a lot have a musical background, but many don't. Yeah. So in audio production, they're doing, what are they doing? Promos or voicing different things. And so this could be an opportunity for you guys too.
Yeah. I mean, that's kind of how we became friends. Cause like we saw each other in Larry's class on the Zoom call, and then somebody burnt popcorn in the apartment right next to mine, and then he had to show up. And then he goes, aren't you Rubane? I'm like, oh yeah, Jason. And then one time I was just working on music in one of the editing suites, and I go, Sam, I would love for someone else to like get someone else's viewpoint. And I just said that. He was doing a radio shift. I go in there, and I go, yo, Jason, you want to check this out real quick? And he goes, it's funny you asked me because I do music as well.
Oh, do you?
Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome.
I've been doing it a few years, just kind of on the side, just having some fun with it.
I mean, if you want to check out a banger, it's called All Night by Bane and Contrabane.
Yeah,
all right.
That's us.
Yeah.
But anyway, the marriage of the music department. I feel like they focus a lot more on the performance arts. But it's great to have the background in technology to be able to record and inside of a studio and even produce on your own as you're working within Logic. The ability to just open up a MIDI, get all the instruments you ever could ask for, start.
And a lot of them do compose, so it would be a great way for them to use the facility and be able to actually put their composition on paper, so to speak. And record it and have a final product, but not voice majors. Those voice majors who want to be voice teachers, they can certainly use technology to record their voice students. If you need to make a demo tape, you should know how to produce it yourself and have a quality product. So I mean, the possibilities are really limitless. So
they really are.
It's exciting.
I saw Marcel the other day in the.
He's like beyond.
He didn't know about it a week ago.
Yeah, he's beside himself.
Yeah, I saw Marcel in the cafeteria. He goes, "Did you know that there's a editing the whole editing suites down there under the library?" I'm like, yeah, that's my major, man. It's like, and in episode 2, we talked about just like all the opportunities that people have down here and how Marywood students could use it. And then, of course, we shared it to our Twitters and Instagrams. Well, not Twitter, really Instagram.
Yeah.
And then a couple of my friends watched it, and they were like,
yeah, I had no idea that existed.
Yeah.
And then they've said that they've come down here and looked at the stuff, and they had no idea it was here.
Yeah, a lot of people don't, which is okay too. You know.
It's good.
Yeah.
But when they built this current facility 7 years ago, we had really hoped to start like an audio engineering, music engineering major, but at the time, you know, the budget wasn't there, the interest really wasn't there, you know, because they did studies, but now things have changed a little bit. So I would like to see us dabble in that in the future too.
Yeah.
I mean, I probably won't be here, but
A legacy you and Eric can leave on
that's
the
right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And again, it offers more opportunities for students to come to Marywood, where
Yeah.
they might not see, like music. I'm trying to think about like studio,
Like
music.
audio
Like
engineering.
studios,
or
yeah.
yeah.
So if that becomes an actual class or an actual
Yeah.
major in the long run,
yeah.
it broadens the opportunities for students here.
Yeah, and it's just gonna like we're gonna get to, as comm majors, like who are interested in music, we'll learn a lot more from all these music majors coming in
Exactly.
and learn like a little
Yeah,
bit
it
of
works
theory
both
and
ways.
everything.
I'm a big proponent of real world experience
Yeah.
matters a lot more, but at the same time, having the technical background of a teacher telling you or teaching you how to use the
Yeah.
programs. Because I taught myself everything on my own, but there's things
Yeah.
I've learned in audio production, a 100 level class or 200 level class,
Yeah,
that I didn't know even in my own experience.
Right.
So to have someone teaching you it, I think is a big deal as well.
You know, and that's the thing. You guys get the basics. You know, even video production, right? Studio production is a semester. Editing and field production is another semester. You can't possibly learn everything you have to. But that's where
Yeah.
it's up to the student to go, well,
yeah,
I'm going to delve deeper into this and do my own research and do my own, you know, there's great websites out there. I mean, some of them you have to pay for that have experts in the field teaching you
Yeah.
how to use Logic. That's what I'm doing now. You know, again, I find my way around it, but I certainly don't know everything about Logic.
yeah. It's like I now recently started getting into color correction with like
Mhm.
videos, and
Yep.
I'm like, there's so much to it.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
So, you know, a lot of it is up to the student too,
Yeah.
how to take the initiative and really hone their craft. So,
But to at least have the teachers to lay the groundwork
no, yeah,
for the
that
students to.
it's
Right.
a lot. Yeah,
But I think
and
that
to
wraps
say,
up-
oh, what do you think of this?
Hmm?
Like, do you
Yeah.
like this, or how does this look? You know, it's
Yeah.
Yeah. And you've heard and you've seen so many projects that you know what works and what doesn't work.
Yeah.
So to have a wise mind, I'm just
wow.
yeah.
I've been around a long time.
so to have someone.
We should have a new title, Ernie the Wise.
Oh yeah.
Anyway, I think that wraps up today's podcast.
Yeah.
I'd love to have you on.
Well, that was
another point.
quick.
Yeah, we didn't
Yeah,
get to all of our questions, but we got to head out
But-
soon. So
yeah.
If
give
you
it
wanna come
time.
back
Sorry, I
anytime.
tend to be long-winded.
no, it's great.
I feel like this was like we couldn't have had we couldn't have had a better first guest.
Well, thank you.
Yeah.
I appreciate that.
To anyone that's saying I'm dick riding, I'm not. Get off.
Anyway,
He's not my teacher anymore. I know there's gonna be. I know that people are gonna ask
Hey,
that.
you're in my practicum class, though.
Oh yeah, true.
Yeah.
I am. I
Mhm.
forget.
Yeah.
I'm in 2 practicums this
Yeah,
year.
you better
so-
get your butt in gear.
I'm at about 50.
Are you? All right. That's
Or
not
almost.
bad.
At the end of this week, I'll be at like 50 something.
like a month and a half, a month and.
Dude, with the podcast and editing and stuff, it's like 10 hours.
Listen,
a week.
practicum is the best thing about our department, I think.
Yeah.
You know, because you get the practical experience you need. It's like a job. You have to show up to get your hours, and we get the help we need to do the things that we need to do. So
Yeah.
works both ways.
It motivates you to do good work in your field as well.
Exactly.
Like sometimes I wouldn't do photography, but I have to do the woodwork, so I have to
Yeah.
go out and I
And
get
it led to a
practice.
part-time job, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
So there you go.
I mean,
at least opportunities.
There you go.
Hone your craft.
Hopefully, this leads to a
That'd be cool.
opportunity. I mean, that would be cool.
I guess that's a good place to end.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
so.
look for the opportunities, and well, opportunities are always out there. You just got to go find them. But thank you for watching this episode. We'll see you guys next time, and always remember that we're uploading twice now, not just once. So you guys get us on Mondays and Thursdays.
And Saturdays on VMFM, 8 p.m.
That's true.
So check us out.
Thank you for watching. Check us out on all the Instagrams, Twitters, Snapchats,
All of our social
all
medias.
the social
All-
medias
all
down
linked in
down
the
there.
description. Yeah, yeah.
So thank you for watching, and have a good one, guys.